Delco. What is Delco? Urban Dictionary, maybe the best definition of any place in the history of any place. Delco is the nickname for Delaware County. Not just a place to live, it's a way of life. Delco isn't something you obtain with a short visit while you're passing through. Never has been, or don't actually live here, you just won't understand. Delco is something you can spot across the bar while out of town. Speaking of bars, there's 42-to-1 ratio when it comes to bars to libraries. Delco people love being from Delco. I don't know if there's anything special from Delco, except being a Delco guy, I kind of like it.
What is up, Delaware County, and welcome back for our first in-season episode of Delco Baseball Now. Ben Thorpe alongside Brennan Ricciardi here. Ben, we're back. I'm very excited to actually be talking about baseball, not asking the same 10 summary questions to everybody to preview their season.
Yeah, now we've got some official games going on. I got a nice 70-degree day right now that kind of gets us in the mood. But it's good to be back. It's good to see some actual meaningful baseball games going on.
Nothing says let's enjoy this 70-degree day by staying inside and recording on our laptops here.
It's beautiful out. Let me hop on my phone
and talk about exactly. Well, a couple quick shout outs here. Last night, Ben and I went to my family, Jake's Dragon Foundation. We had a big gala. It's a big fundraiser event. Delco Baseball Now was a sponsor, which was cool just to see our logo up there. With we were not in the $10,000 Dragon level sponsor, unfortunately.
One day,
but just to be there was cool. I'm glad both of our parents were there as well. It was a cool event. If you haven't yet, follow Jake's Dragon Foundation. Basically, the goal of it is after my cousin passed back in 2018, the goal is to raise money for childhood cancer, whether that be research, whether that be just supporting the families. So give it a shout out. And Ben, pretty good tortellini, if I may say so.
Dude, fantastic. The food in general was just, even the
potatoes.
The potatoes were awesome. Dude, even the green beans were great. That was a real good overall spread we had there.
I took the salad as questionable. I got some carrots in there to get some color.
Yeah, of course.
But all right, before we get into the episode here, let's get a quick words from our sponsors over at Substitute Teacher Service for the second straight year. Happy to have you guys back.
If you love working with kids and making a difference, then Substitute Teaching is the perfect job for you. Substitute Teacher Service is hiring teachers in your area year-round for all positions and levels. A teaching degree is not required. We provide you with all necessary certification and even help you to work towards a full-time teaching position. Great benefits, flexible schedule, a rewarding career. The Subservice is hiring right now in your area. Learn more and apply today at thesubservice.com.
Thank you to STS for being a great sponsor for us for the second year in a row. They've been a big part of us being able to be consistent with having a podcast sponsorship, which is nice. If you are interested in also being a podcast sponsor, please reach out to us as well, because the more the merrier in that regard. All right, well let's dive into the action here. I think what we did last year was we pretty much would always start with the game of the week, so I think that's a good place to get going here. Ben was not at that one, but we broadcasted that one. Shout out to new intern Jonah Castle, a junior at Friends Central. You wouldn't know from listening to it. It was actually the first baseball game he ever broadcast. He had done a ton of basketball for Friends Central. You can tell that he's just a baseball guy, just didn't have the opportunity or wasn't able to stream that yet. So I thought he did a great job. Did a great job with the interview questions as well. But this game lived up to the hype. And Ben, as you remember last year, we kind of started with a ton of just dud games in a row.
Yeah.
A lot of 6-1, 7-1, 6-2, just a bunch of games that were close but not nail biters. This game was great. This game ended up with Haverford winning 3-2. It was really tight the whole game. Two of the best pitchers in Delco, Jimmy Boyle for Haverford, Ryan McGee for Garnet Valley, both through 5 innings. They both allowed one unearned. I guess Ryan had one earned run. Jimmy had one unearned run. Really wasn't too much offense to speak of. Haverford had 3 hits, and 2 of them were back-to-back triples by Shane Durkin and Jimmy Boyle, which scored their first run. This was a very odd start to the game. So in the top of the first inning, all 3 Garnet outs were on the base paths, which was really strange. So Cole Lombardo, I think, singles to start off the game. He stole second, and I think on the slide, I think he must have like came off the base a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't see his hand come off, but he was called out. We were kind of far away, and then Cole Haverford was picked off first, and Harrison Wells picked off second. So we're sitting there like, what is going on? It's just a very odd start to the game. And then for Garnet's first run, Ashton Yao is a pinch runner. They tried to pick him off, and he scored all the way from first because
it got thrown away.
So it got thrown away. He went first to third, and then the third went away, and he scored. So very, very strange start just on the base.
All right, that's a little
just a weird way to get the game going. But fast forward into the sixth, Garnet Valley took the lead, made it 2-1, and then going into the bottom of the seventh, it was a 2-1 lead, and then Haverford they kind of showed what made them so successful last year. They kept battling. They had a ton of great at bats in a row. They ended up having a walk to both tie the game and win the game. Shane Durkin's walk ended up, no pun intended, walking it off. A bit of an anticlimactic ending, but it was still a very entertaining game.
Yeah. I mean, and first Central League game, I think it might have been, that wasn't the first game for Garnet. I think that was Haverford's first real game. But
I think Haverford played Ruston, so it was their second game.
Okay. So both teams' second game, first, game that really counts. And, you're getting the rust off a little bit. Obviously some sloppiness early in the game. And I guess kind of at the end too with the walks, but kind of, good for them to get that opening win, get back rolling on the same page.
I thought both teams looked pretty good overall. What stood out to me the most on the Garnet side was that Ryan McGee just pounds the zone. Like Jonah, every time it was a first pitch strike, it felt like 58 strikes, 18 balls.
Jeez. That's going to help, especially with the pitch counts and stuff. Being efficient.
And it especially helps when you have a very good defensive infield. Just to trust that your guys are going to make the play, and it's soon enough. I don't know if it'll be this season. They're going to have turf. Hopefully, it's this season. We'll see. But
they are.
They're playing their first 9 games on the road I thought
they were at the elementary school. They're on the road.
If the turf's not ready, they will be.
Okay. But will they be a home team on the road, or will they just they're just
well, because think about it, for all of the the 6A teams, they'll play them twice, so they just play the first 5 on the road, and then they'll play those 5. They'll end the season with all those at home.
That's gonna be wild.
Yeah, so if they're still which I expect them to have a good record going into that home stretch, they can really get hot there. Mm-hmm. Also, shout out Cole Lombardo, 8 for 10 on the season so far, 2 for 3 in this game. Both the teams combined for 7 hits. So unsurprisingly, he was the only one with multiple hits. But I thought Jimmy Boyle, it didn't seem like he had his absolute best stuff, 5 innings, no earned runs, and 6 Ks. Almost for him feels like a disappointment, just the way we've seen him, just rack up the high strikeout numbers. It seemed like he pitched well. Don't get me wrong. I think he just set the bar so high for himself that it's it wasn't quite as efficient as it had been. But again, they have a good defense. Their defense played very well, and I think both teams. I think both teams come out of this game feeling pretty good. I would be shocked if both of these teams weren't contending for the league title and then for the playoff spot by the end of the year.
Yeah, I would say neither team probably felt or feels outmatched considering how things went. For Boyle, obviously, we're going to see him get back to his own ways. I have a hard time believing that he won't. Early, you've faced this team a lot throughout your career. Boyle's been their best pitcher for 3 years now. So, just an early game against a team that's seen you a bunch. It's always going to be tough, and a good team that's seen you a bunch.
Well, he has the chance to be our first ever three-time first team All Delco, because now that Jaden Rivera is out for the season, I think he's the only other person.
We've never had one.
We've only done it 2 years.
Oh yeah,
okay. I don't think the first year.
That makes sense.
I don't think we did it in 23.
No, we did not.
Mm-mm. But I think Jaden and Jimmy were the only sophomores that year.
Yes,
first team that I can remember. But
wow.
All right, let's move on here. Another Central League game. Conestoga gets a little revenge on Lower Merion after last year's playoff loss. It doesn't take away the sting from last year, but it helps. They won that one. It was a bit of a bizarre ending. We'll get to that in a sec. Conestoga kind of had a bit of a full committee. I had heard that Luke Hunter was not like injured, but just kind of like a little bit later getting going this year. So I think they're kind of trying to ease him back into it. 2 1/3, 4 Ks, 1 earned run. Brendan Sora pitched 1 2/3, 1 earned run and 2 Ks. Finn Nieberle closed it out. So this game was actually 8-2 Stoga going into the 7th. It got all the way. I guess technically it got all the way to 8-6, but the game ended. So apparently the way, because both teams reported different scores. So I was very confused, and I said it in the newsletter. I'm like, please send help, because I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on here. So what happened was, I think on the last play of the game, it appeared that Peyton Spiegler tried to stretch a single to a double and was out, but a run scored like at almost the same time. So the debate was whether that run crossed the plate. At the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But like the debate was if that run counted or not. And then, so like later, Colin Quinn texted me. He's like, it was 8-6. And then Greco texted me and said same thing. He just needed to update the game changer. So it ended up being 8-6. Very odd. Like I'm reading the game changer. I'm like, what? Like trying to figure out what happened here. On the Conestoga side, Ben, they stole 13 bases.
Jesus.
I know that's something that Anthony Greco has really been just a big proponent of. And last year, because he had texted me last year, he's like, do you know what the Central League stolen base record is? I'm like, I don't. But if I could find out, I'll let you know. But it seems like if any indication from that game, they might be trying to break last year's record.
He might be breaking that pretty quickly, too.
Yeah.
If we're stealing 13 a game, I mean, I doubt they're going to get 13 a game. But
yeah. They're going to try. Chase Sherney, 2 for 3. He drove in 2 runs. Landon Jones had 2 hits as well. For Lower Merion, Brian Heck started the game. He struck out 7 over 3 innings with 2 hits, no earned runs. I'm assuming, again, just early season, they didn't really want to just stretch them out too much. But I think, again, I expect both of these teams to be in the playoffs. I think that they were very evenly matched. We saw the one game last year where it was the game of the week and Stoga won, I think maybe 3-2, 4-3, something like that, on a super nice day at Stoga. Playoff game, I think that Lower Merion team just was ready to play that day, and they, I don't think that they were. I think it ended up being like 8 or 9-2. I think they were a lot closer than that on paper, and I think this year, again, I think that they could both be probably. I mean, the league, in my opinion, is wide open. I know last year Radnor and Haverford were the 2-horse race. I don't think it's that big of a gap this year than it was last year. And we'll talk a little bit about Radnor. Technically they haven't played a game yet. But yeah,
haven't
for right
finished
now,
the game yet.
Yeah, but for right now, I think that's just a great start to the year for Stoga.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was I know we were talking a little bit. I wasn't aware of the injured Bauer brothers. But I was saying I feel like for me they're kind of a dark horse to win the league with all that. I think even without those two, they still are. There's a lot of talent there. That maybe partially because they're not all Delco kids, like they don't get as much shine, but yeah, no, that's a really good team over there, and Lower Merion also a very good team as well.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point what you said, because like we're starting to get to the age now where like we actually covered the kids in Little League that are playing in high school. Yeah, like Christian Nunez started a couple games for Pencrest in the outfield. Chase D'Ambrosio played in a couple of Bonners scrimmages at both as freshmen. I think Nolan Gratton's on JV for Malvern, but is going to be very good. So it's just cool seeing, we're probably realistically 2 years away, maybe 1 year, but 2 years away from like the majority of that team being on varsity. But yeah, good start for Stoga, and for Lower Merion, I'm not terribly concerned. I think that again, like they had one bad inning. I think Justin Heck just didn't have a great outing, and I think that was 1 or 2 innings, and that just that just snowballed. But both of these teams they were in the power rankings week 1. They're going to be again, so I think both of them are feeling pretty good. All right, let's move on to a team that is not in the power rankings to start the year, but if they keep playing like they did in this game, they will be soon. And that was Harriton, because, we had talked a lot about the optimism on Pencrest side, just, Sergio Hernandez in year 2 under Austin Morgan, a lot of the pitching coming back from the year before, but Harriton absolutely took it to them. Sam Bonenkamp, he was one of our second team All Delco pitchers last year. He struck out 6 over 4 innings. Nate Swally struck out 7 over 3 innings in a 13-3 win for Harriton. Nate also had 3 hits, so he allowed and had both 3 hits. Sounds like a pretty good day. He drove in more runs than he allowed as well. So both of those things are pretty good. When you hear the name Calvin Costello, that just sounds like a shortstop, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
I could see that.
He's Harriton's shortstop. 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Gavin Bowman had 2 hits. And I was kind of briefly watching that game a little bit. It was Wednesday, so it was freezing cold outside. And they just looked like a very, very good team. Like I just thought they played super well. And I think they also have our guy Gus Fransky on the squad that you had told me that was on the Harvard League.
Yeah.
Listen, Scott, if you ever want to hop in the booth, you and Dave Shapansky would put on a clinic. That's all I have to say. I would gladly get out of there to let them cook.
You guys got this.
Absolutely. But yeah, again, Pencrest, technically they had a scrimmage on Saturday, but they put up 16 against Great Valley. So I know that has to be a nice little confidence boost. It wasn't a great week for them. I think Episcopal, we'll talk about them in a little bit, beat them up too. But I think that they're a lot better than they showed this week for sure. But yeah, I mean, if you're Harriton, so Harriton this week, they have Strathaven and Radnor. That's a good test. I think if they come out and win one of those 2 games, I think they'll feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I agree. We've had, I feel like every year there's been a team that's really taken us by surprise. We had Pencrest, I guess our
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago, probably
Lower Marion Lower Marion was one last year.
Yeah, Lower Marion last year. There always is one, and I think Harriton maybe is the favorite to do that. 5A is extremely tough this year with just the amount of quality opponents. But yeah, I mean they look great right now.
Yeah, and the thing with 5A that's interesting is last year Marple, they went 6-10 and made it.
Yeah.
So I know that's not the norm, but you don't have to have an incredible regular season to get in the bracket. So
yeah, there's a lot of teams that beat each other up in 5A.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Marple Newtown, let's move on there. Ben, you were actually at this game, so I have some notes, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Marple Newtown 7, Springfield 2. You got there. It was close, right? I think it was 1-1 when you got there.
It was 1-0 Marple when I got there in the bottom of the 4th, I believe. Okay. Springfield had a runner on second. I think Springfield had Nick Corse on second, stole third. Jake Lennon walked, and then there was a pickoff kind of play that they had Lennon in the rundown going between first and second, went to throw to third, threw it away. That tied. Lennon came home on a single. So that was, I got there, it was 1-0. Pretty quickly after I got there, it was 2-1, and it stayed that way for a little bit. What we got? I guess it would be the top of the 6th. Both teams I thought were very competitive. Kevin Wago threw a great game. I've missed Springfield had a sophomore starting, Drew Krause, who gave up 1 run over 4. I didn't see him throw at all. But yeah, it was a very competitive game. I think just we got to the top of the 6th, and what was it? 2 outs. I think it was 2 outs, runner on first, and Aiden Liberty doubled the center, and that kind of just got a little momentum in Marple's favor, and they got a couple singles, took advantage of a couple errors, and just put a big inning on Springfield, and never looked back.
So both Liberty and Kevin Agger both had 3 hits. Jordan Pinto homered early.
Yes, he was the one.
When you got there, it was 1-0. But Kevin Wago, to my knowledge, I think our first 7-inning complete game of the year that I can recall. Because again, early this year, you're not necessarily seeing guys stretch out. I don't think anyone threw over maybe 80 or 90 pitches that I can think of this week.
No, I mean it's early still, so I don't think you want your pitchers going out throwing. It's early. The weather's been inconsistent. We've had some guys play and it's 40 degrees and windy. A couple of guys got to play when it was sunny and 60. But I think for the most part, you're trying to protect your arms still. Yeah. So no one's going to be going that much.
Thank God Haverford's field was not ready for us on Wednesday for that game of the week. I would have frozen that day. Oh my God,
that would have been brutal, man.
Yeah. But all right, let's move on to the Chessmont here. Ben, the Sun Valley Vanguards were down 8-1.
Wait,
They
hold
were
up.
down
We didn't talk
8-1.
about we
What's
didn't
up?
talk about Radnor.
Like
The Radnor.
technically, that game didn't really finish though. I mean, we can touch on it real quick, but like that game. So like the Strathaven Radnor game was 1-1 after 9, and there was another game scheduled after them in Maple Zone, and they just
They
kicked
just
them
called
off.
it.
They just
They're
kicked
like,
them off.
all right, see you guys.
I was told that game will
Someone's
now.
got to score.
So when Strathaven and Radnor will play at Radnor later in the year,
Oh, well, they finish it and
we're
then
gonna try
do.
and finish it. Yeah. So
That's funny. We did the same thing against Strathaven one year.
yeah, because that was my junior year, and I think did you guys see was it a walk off homer against us?
No, we lost. You
You
guys
lost the
walked
first
off.
game?
Yeah, well, they walked off against me. I threw like 6 innings of
Oh
extra.
right, yeah, because it walked off on the
I
road.
threw,
That's right, yeah.
I threw 6 innings of extra innings and then just lost on like a sack fly.
That's such a funny box score.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah. But yeah, so that game, I mean, clearly every pitcher threw well. Both Haverford teams, I think, split those 9 innings up, and I guess they're going to try and plan it so Blake, because Austin, I guess technically you can re-enter as a pitcher, right? Like that happened. In that
if you don't leave the game, you can go back as a pitcher.
I think Austin stayed in the game because he was their leadoff hitter. Jasper Halls threw really well for Strathaven. I think after that, I'll pull it up here. I think we had a new addition to Strathaven. I think Patrick Burke was one of the pitchers for Strathaven as well.
Okay.
And I want to say Zach Wanke, I think, was the other pitcher. So yeah, I didn't know if we were going to talk about that just because I wasn't sure. The game is still,
Yeah,
still
that's
going.
fine.
I'm sorry, it was Travis McDonough was the other pitcher
Yes,
for Strathaven. But this is a big sibling team because we have Jake McDonough's brother, Luke Dancona's brother, Asa pitched well against I think the Haverford school. We got there's another brother, Zach Milligan hit 2 homers against the Haverford school as well. So yeah, big younger brother team here. I love it. But yeah, I think it's kind of too early to know. I mean, I would say that Radnor, it seems like, their lineup is very inexperienced. Like I had them first. I'm still believing in the fact that their pitching will prevail. I think that it's more likely that their offense grows throughout the season than it is that their pitching just stops being good. So I think, in my eyes, having Radnor first is almost more like investing in a stock where you're like, right now, like on paper, they might not be the best team in Delco at this moment, but I believe that their pitching will stay elite, and throughout the season, their offense will be able to support them enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think it's kind of it's tough to draw anything from a game that didn't finish.
Yeah, I do think there's a good chance
so.
that Bonner could be number 1 if they beat St. Joe's Prep this week.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Especially, I don't know if it'll be Kuhn or Grasso or I think Rupert. I forget. There's another one on that team that's going to St. Bonnie's.
I think Grasso is. I don't know, honestly. It might be Grasso.
It's just hilarious if you have a guy throwing 98 who's not your ace.
Yeah. It's like, I got this other
baseball.
dude.
Yeah.
They're all studs, though. I mean,
that game, I might be at FDR. Rupertus.
Yes, yeah.
Is their another pitcher, 3 D1 pitchers. But yeah, so for the Central League, we also had Ridley and Upper Darby. There wasn't really too much to note in that game. Our guy Jake Mansfield, DBN intern, threw well in that game as well. So we'll talk more. We don't need to talk about every single game that happened. Obviously, as the season goes on and teams are playing more games a week, we'll have to trim it down a little bit. But for Sun Valley, dude, they were down 8-1. This was a team that I think won 3 games last year. And they trailed 8-1 going in the bottom of the 6th, and they scored 11 runs on a Unionville team that's traditionally pretty solid, right? Like they had the kid Deal the year that Radnor beat them in the playoffs. Like that's no joke. So I wanted to break down this chaotic inning here. So I have it in order. Ready? So we have Alex Mai was hit by a pitch. Jaden Kamiziak flew out. Daniel Miller walked, and Julian Quinney singled. So we got bases loaded, 1 out. Then we had back-to-back walks. Austin Jennings walked, so it's 8-2. Jax Casamento walked. And Jax, if you're listening to this, I had your dad for gym class in elementary school. He was a teacher at Wallingford. I don't know if he's still at Wallingford, but that's where I went for elementary school. And I remember him going on like paternity leave and thinking that the name Jax was so interesting to me. And he was ahead of his time because there's a lot of
there's more now.
Jacksons with X's now. So I thought I was like 8. And I was like, I've never heard that name before. So yeah, Mr. C, you were ahead of your time there for sure. So that made it 8-3. Logan Howe reached on an error which scored 2 runs, so it was 8-5. But then Ryan Messick struck out. So at this point, there's 2 outs, and it's still 8-5. Another walk loaded up the bases. And then Alex Mai was hit by his second pitch of the inning.
Oh,
So he was hit twice.
he's just wearing them.
He was hit twice, so 8-6. Jaden Kamiziak single, 8-7. Daniel Miller walk, 8-8. Julian Quinney single scored 2 runs to make it 10-8. And then Austin Jennings single made it 12-8. So they scored 7 of those runs with 2 outs as well. So, when we posted the Sun Valley interview, and the clip I posted was about how, they use that Delco grit and they don't quit. Like, they showed it pretty early.
Yeah, that was man, that's a good exhibition of it's a good showing of like no quit, and yeah, good way to prove that you have that grit. Being down 8-1 is never, it's never easy to rally the troops with that. And it's good on them for just kind of taking the opportunities that were presented to them. A lot of walks, a lot of hit by pitches. 2 hit by pitches in the same innings. Like, I know it's good you're wearing one for the team, but that sucks, man.
That sucks, yeah.
That just sucks.
Well, it's it's interesting because have you ever seen a team score 11 runs with no extra base hits? Like, talk about station to station.
Not in high school.
Not in high school, no.
I've seen some like 10U baseball games where that's happened.
That's fair.
Definitely not high school.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I don't know how good Sun Valley is going to be this year. Again, a very young team with a lot of unknowns. But for right now, after last year, they're 2-0 this year. They had a great win against Delco Christian too. Regardless of how the rest of the year goes, like it has to feel good for them to just start with 2 wins like that.
Yeah, especially they just play a gauntlet in the chess mock. So to start on the right foot after some tough beginnings to years in recent history, it's got to feel good. It's got to feel fantastic to start ahead.
All right, let's move into the Interac here. So the Haverford school, it's funny. They play like so many more games than everybody else. I guess maybe Episcopal too. But even then, I feel like, whenever you see like the end of season stat leaders, obviously Haverford has great hitters, but like the hit totals, the RBIs, the strikeouts, like the Interact teams are just so further ahead in those specific ones. They've already played 6 official games,
wow,
which is hilarious because like teams like Bonner and other PIAA schools have 2-ish. Bonner has 0. But yeah, I think for them, I think that they should be happy with the 4-2 start. I think they've been a little inconsistent, but more good than bad. Like, you beat Pencrest, but then you get shut out by Garnet Valley at home. You beat Strathaven in a late win, but then, you can't really get much offense against Devon Prep. But then you beat St. Joe's Prep, who's supposed to be a very good team this year. So I think, overall, and to get the walk-off single from your 9-hitter too is very nice for a lineup that at the beginning looked a bit top-heavy. But I think that, again, a lot of these guys don't have much varsity experience. Danny Getz, Ryan's younger brother that we covered for a little bit. And they're showing some good rallies because, Nicky Vanny hit a go-ahead homer against Strathaven. I think for a lot of that game, Strathaven was winning. And I think Haverford kind of came back, tied it, and then won. Shout out DBN intern Gabe Denisi threw a great game on Saturday against St. Joe's Prep, I think. Actually, we had back-to-back DBN interns. So Gabe threw 5 1/3 to start the game, and then Matt Borden retired all 5 hitters he faced after that. So shout out the boys. It's good. It's a good look.
Let's go.
It's a good look for us. But yeah, I think overall Haverford. We'll get to the power rankings later. They're still going to be in there. I think that once the Interact play starts, like that's when you're really going to learn, obviously, how they are. But it is cool that they play a lot of other Delco teams. Pencrest. They played Garnet Valley, Strathaven, so we can kind of get some context where some other teams, like, they're not playing any of the same teams, so we don't really know what we're looking at.
Yeah, and I think they're getting, at least early in the year, where the league schedules in Delco haven't picked up as much. You're getting a good look at like best on best with those 2 teams too. Yeah. So definitely a little inconsistent. I think offensively, definitely still have some worries with them, especially going into Interact play. But they're young and it's early and a lot can change can change and a lot can change quickly.
I will say I'd rather have young offense and veteran pitching staff than
absolutely
the other way around. So
yeah.
All right. Honestly, Episcopal is actually in a similar boat because they have both kind of been a little weirdly inconsistent. Like they played a really, really tight game against Springfield and then played a really tight game against LaSalle. And then they blew the doors off Pencrest, and then they got crushed by Phoenixville. So like they're kind of in this same boat where it's like some days you're like, oh, like this team is neck and neck with LaSalle. Like they were down 3-1. They tied it, I think, with 2 outs in the 7th. They let up a walk-off homer. A bit of a, it's like, damn, why do we even come back, right? But then, to come out and then put 15 on Pencrest, and then I was a little confused about this. I think it's a tournament at Phoenixville. So like,
yeah, they do like an invitational thing,
but they only played 1 game. So they played Phoenixville on Friday. They lost 10-2. They had Daniel Boone on the Game Changer. They posted a graphic, which I thought was funny because Owen Pfeiffer and Dylan Wallace both transferred to EA from Daniel Boone. They put them on the graphic, and then the game just didn't happen. And it was nice out this weekend. So I should probably figure out what happened there.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
So definitely, maybe, I don't know, maybe the tournament decided just to have like the winners of the 2 games play. But yeah, so according to EA's schedule, it says they don't play again until the Interac opener on April 7th. I don't believe that. I think they go down south. They probably just don't know who they play yet.
Yeah, that would make sense if they went on some sort of spring break trip. I know a lot of schools are probably going around Easter.
I would guess they just don't know who their schedule is yet.
Yeah.
But for Episcopal, so for anybody that remembers the name Michael Schaefer, he pitched when he was in 8th grade at Episcopal, got a fair amount of varsity innings. I think he pitched at least like 20. He's been mashing with the bat this year. He's pitched a little as well, but he had a 3-hit game he drove in 4 runs against Pencrest in that game. Seems like he's going to be a middle of the order bat kind of guy for them. Which is a big addition because, you lose Jake Verbitsky from last year as well. And I'm sure there's other hitters I'm blanking on that were on the team last year that they lost. But just to, have a guy that I kind of penciled in as more of a pitcher, be able to come in and be like a middle of the order bat. I think he had another 2-hit game. I think he had at least 5 hits last week. So I think that was a nice, and Owen Pfeiffer missed off last year with an injury too. And he had 3 hits in that Pencrest game.
Yeah, they got a little bit of the. You ever see the video like the soccer manager? He's like sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of that going on right now, where it's just like
you never know.
They look great. They look great some days. They look not so great others. I saw them when they played Springfield. I thought they looked pretty strong. I was very impressed. Michael Schaefer, that was one of the times he was on the mound. I was really impressed with him. He can swing the bat. And yeah, I think they're in the same boat of like they got a good team, and as they play more games, they're going to figure that out. But they got a good squad over there.
Another first-team All-Delco guy, Reggie King, drove in 3 runs as well. For a question for Michael Schaefer, can you win Breakout Player of the Year if you threw 20 innings with a sub-2 ERA in 8th grade? Did he kind of already break out? Like, it's a question. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. That is a good question. Maybe not, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Good question. But all right, wrap up the Interact with Malvern Prep. Again, for a lot of these teams that are right outside of Delco, we're adding coverage on. They won't be in like the all Delco like team awards, power rankings, like player of the week, that kind of stuff. We're just trying to give some more coverage to local guys. They've scored 33 runs in 3 games. They had a slugfest with Council Rock South. Kind of a weird matchup. I don't know how that one got scheduled. Just a weird 2 teams. Brian Cogliano and Cole Skarbinski, they both homered in that game. 10-8 win. 7-3 win over Cardinal O'Hara. Paul DeBona. That just sounds like a Delco name. I'm actually going to look that up. I mean, if you tell me coming down the street, Paulie DeBona's like walking down the street, I would imagine you're probably in like Drexel Hill or something. Let's see.
Yeah.
Havertown. Okay, good guess.
There you go. Yeah, close enough.
Cool. 6 shutout innings, 6 hits, and 6 innings with 1 unearned run. And Jackson Melconian homered in that game. The bats have been hot. Brady Abate drove in 7 runs against LaSalle.
Jesus.
I wrote in the newsletter that this should be an awesome game between 2 of the best programs in PA, but Malvern just took it to him, man. Like, Brady homered in that game. Cogliano homered again. Cole Skarbinski drove in 2. Luke Moore drove in 3. Like, just to have the offense humming that early. And, I mean, when was the last time LaSalle lost by 13? Bonner? I guess Bonner made it pretty bad.
Yeah, no, that was last year against Bonner.
Yeah.
The last
doesn't happen very often.
No.
But yeah, I mean, there's we don't really have to harp too much on Malvern because they're always good. So like I think it's more just trying to talk about like who are the good players this year. I think for Malvern, I would say that this lineup seems like it's going to mash. Who's their ace is a question that I think that they might wonder too, because I've heard a lot. Colin Romancic, he's a Northwestern recruit. Seems like if they had a do or die game tomorrow, I would guess he's the guy. Jack Irvine, I think he's going to Lafayette. They always have been talking very highly of a sophomore, Caden Wallace, pitching for them, who I think got some time as a freshman last year. He's going to get some more innings for them this year as well. But for all these teams, Interac opener is April 7th. That is a Tuesday. So looking forward to seeing these teams out there. All right, let's switch over to the Catholic League here. We'll start off with Carroll. Carroll's 2-0. Great performance from Colin Moran against Germantown Friends. 6 shutout innings, 4 hits allowed. He also drove in 3, so pretty good day at the ballpark. Ricky Evans also had 2 hits there. Don't know too much about Germantown Friends. I know they're in the Friends Central, like the Friends.
Yeah, they're in the
Schools
Friends League. They're probably like middle of the Friends League.
They also Carroll took down Central 12-2. We had a bunch of 2-hit games. Cole Tancredi, Colin Moran, Dan McNally, Max Barnes, and Ricky Evans. But I think for Carroll, if you're a Carroll fan, you are most excited about how Jack Stadnicki looked. Transfer from Haverford. He's going to Thomas Jefferson because apparently if you at some point went to Haverford, you're going to go to Thomas Jefferson. Jimmy Boyle, Ryan Cassidy, Will Hoffman was the first, I think, of that pipeline there. But that's a great sign because we don't know exactly what the timeline for Bennett Bishop is, their Duke recruit who missed last season with Tommy John. So I would imagine that, even if he's ready to go sometime soon, he's not giving you 100 pitches for a little bit. So I think that for now, you're expecting Stadnicki to be your ace, and then throwing 6 innings with just those 3 hits and the 1 unearned run allowed is a great start.
Yeah, that's again, I think Carroll's another team that we look at where they could stand to have a good start. Probably another one where there's like some Valley have had some, have gotten off to the wrong foot in a really good league the past couple of times. So seeing them 2-0, it's got to be very encouraging. Seeing the pitching they have this year also has to be incredibly encouraging. And they're looking like they should be able to contend.
Yeah, and with the way the Catholic League works, which is why I lobby for it so much with the Central League, like the team you are on March 22nd is not the team you are on May 22nd. Nope. And for a team like Carroll, if they say they get into the tournament at, I don't know, we'll say 6-6, 5-7, 7-5, and they're playing, first round play-in tournament game or even are able to get up to like that, I think 6 seed. Like if you show up to a play-in tournament with a Duke recruit who has not, has been ramping up and is now ready to go, you're going to feel good about your chances to win. And then next thing you know, your second game, you're going to be going against someone's ace, but you have another pitcher who's very high quality. So like, I think that if Carroll can win a couple games early in the Catholic League, set themselves up so that they can help, Bishop kind of ease his way back in, and then come playoff time, they're really ready to go. I think this team could be definitely a second half team to wake up for sure. But it's great to get off to a good start. Devon Prep 1-0 on this young year. They took down the Haverford school. Alex Hanna and Johnny Dugan both had 2 hits. Liam Young allowed just 1 unearned run through 4 innings. Brady Doyle and Johnny Dugan both threw well in relief. The unfortunate news here for Devon is that Caleb Flannery got hurt, their star catcher, in their spring training trip to Florida. Don't believe he's out for the year, but at least out for the my favorite term.
Foreseeable future.
Foreseeable future. That's what I was going for, my favorite term. Again, it's another one where like I still think they have the quality of team that could get them in the playoffs. Are they going to contend for the league title without him? I think that might be a bit tough. I genuinely thought that if he came back, like if he was, taking another step even farther forward from last year, that they were a dark horse team to go after potentially winning the league, the regular season, or at least making it into that upper echelon. Might be tough for them to win the league, at least the regular season. But again, if they're a team where if they can get into the playoffs, they have 2 really good starting pitchers they trust. And if they can get him back, he's still a junior, so of course they'll have him next year with Dugan as well. Definitely still a gut punch for them for sure.
Yeah. It's I think they're so well positioned even with that. I mean, like, yeah, they're not going to be maybe on paper as good as what they would be, obviously, with him. But they got a good program over there, a good culture, and it seems like they'll be able to kind of ride out the storm. Also with Dugan, when was the Devin Haverford game? Because he plays basketball too, and they were just in Hershey for the.
That was Friday.
Okay, so he must. I think he won a state chip in basketball and then played baseball the
Really?
next day.
That's
There's a John Dugan that someone was because I'll follow some guys that cover.
I mean, he plays basketball. I know he plays basketball.
Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty sure they played the state title on Thursday, and then he was just suiting up for baseball the next day. That's awesome.
Crazy.
He had a really good run for basketball too. He was scoring.
He had 29 points. Oh, and he had 29 points in the semis.
Yeah, no, he was averaging like 24 points a game in the state playoffs.
He shot 13 of 14 from the field and finished with 29 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's see. It looks like he scored 14 in the
14.
I think yeah. That's awesome. They played Obama Academy.
Yes.
Well, good for him, man. Congrats on the state chip in basketball. Yeah. Maybe try and get another in baseball. Why not? But all right. So we don't have anything to add for Bonner because they have not played a game yet. Just a couple scrimmages. So we'll end the PCL with O'Hara. You know what? If you're an O'Hara fan and you go on the road and lose 7-3 to Malvern, I think you're kind of okay with that. Like, that's not a bad result. Like, I know that it's, you can say it's loser talk. I don't care. Like, I think that you're playing arguably the best team in the state. And to go on the road, Adam Schreiber threw well in that game. He kept them in it for sure. They shut out Oxford, 7-0 earlier in the week. As a staff, they struck out 14 in that game. Colin Thomas threw 3, Max Brown threw 2, Podrick McManus threw 1, and shout out Villanova quarterback recruit John Weldy, who struck out 2 to end the game. It's still kind of early. Still kind of early to know what we have with O'Hara. Obviously, the post Brendan Till era is going to be tough just in terms of replicating what he could do. But yeah, look, you let up a total of 7 runs across 2 games, and you were competitive against a good Malvern team. I think that's a very good start, and I think it seems like with Jack, with Adam Schreiber, with Podrick, with John, it seems like they have a good stable of senior. I think that's 4 seniors that I just named right there. And this Colin Thomas guy, they seem very optimistic about. I think he's a sophomore.
Okay, it seems like they got. Maybe I guess we're going into the same thing of like veteran pitching staff, young offense a bit.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's going to be tough to replace what Till was able to do for that team. But they still have Jack Quinn around, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll kind of. They still have Jack Quinn around. Yeah. He'll be able to lead that offense. And the good veteran pitching staff always helps to have, especially with a couple talented guys at the top.
So who's going to run around yelling 6-7 if he's gone with Brendan Till gone? Because that's what I noticed in every Delco League game I saw.
I don't know. It's honestly probably for their sake. Hopefully, no one. That's probably actually like a benefit, but
addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
All right. Last conference here. We'll talk a little Del Val. They had their season opener. Chichester took down Chester 15-0. The top of the order for Chi went 10 for 12 with 10 RBIs in that game.
They'll play.
Which is, listen, I understand the quality, the teams that are playing and all of that stuff, but the top of your order doing that is preposterous. That was Evan Valentine, Zach Murray, Cole Sanford, Logan Worley. Great starts of the year. Chi's had a couple of good games. They played Garnet, which is a tough out of conference game. Kept them close. I think they played Unionville as well earlier, and it was a pretty solid game. So I wanted to add with Academy Park took down Penwood. And we had a 2-man wrecking crew in this game because Tristan Tomp drove in 6 runs, double, triple, 6 RBIs, and then Sean Murphy struck out 9 over 5 innings and also drove in 2 runs. They beat him 14-2. That's a 2-man wrecking crew right there.
That sure sounds like it. It's good to see they got that.
Yeah. We don't know too much. Again, Academy Park and Penwood, both on Game Changer this year.
Okay.
So
are we like fully Game Changered?
I think we are. I'm pretty sure it's a verb. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's I'm glad because we do the best we can. But if we can't see your box scores, we have nothing. There's nothing. Yeah. And that's why if anyone's ever asked if we would do football, it's look, baseball, everything's right at our fingertip. Football, you need a lot more boots on the ground, which is tough.
Even if my boots were on the ground in football, I couldn't
True, you can at least get me scores.
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
yeah, they scored, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Don't know how.
Yeah, they caught it.
All right, last team we got to talk about here. Interborough took down Jenkintown 3-1. Since there's 5 Del Val teams, obviously one's not playing every time there's Del Val games. Caden Whalen drove in 2. Chase Norbeck drove in a run. We had great pitching. Joel Sheridan, Jackson Monroe, and Tyler Green combined for the 7 innings. I think they all threw 2 or 3. One unearned run was the only run. So good start for Interborough. We'll see if they can contend for the Del Val this year. They had a confident group when we talked to them, so excited to follow along with that. So that'll kind of wrap up our takeaways from the week. We got Player of the Week coming up, Power Rankings, announcing the Game of the Week. But first, we got a sponsor here, and this is someone that we can personally speak to. Charlie Longan, he gives us our liability insurance, so we can specifically, vouch. That was the word I was looking for. Vouch for what he can do. Also, congratulations, Coach Longan, for coaching his 500th career high school game.
Yes.
At the Friends Central Haverford school game. My man was sitting on $499 all offseason and just had to wait for opening day to hit 500. So congrats to Charlie. He was at Bonner for a long time, I think briefly at Episcopal as well. But now at a school like Friends Central, you can rack them up more because you can play more games. At Bonner, you're stuck to 20 or whatever the PIAA rule is. But at the Longan Group, they provide insurance solutions and risk management strategies for businesses, individuals, and families. Obviously, we're the small business of that realm and liability. Insurance can be purchased anywhere, but they go beyond coverage to build lasting relationships with their clients. They offer expert guidance as their needs evolve. They will help you protect your assets, safeguard your future, and maintain peace of mind. They can give you quality commercial and personal insurance products. They provide up-to-date guidance, continually growing their insurance expertise. They maintain their competitive edge by utilizing innovative strategies to reach and serve their diverse range of clients. You can email Charlie at Longan, that's LONGENGRP.com, or call him 610-724-9717. Now, they have locations in Kennett Square and Chester Springs, but Charlie's a Delco guy. So if you want to support, our guy and get some great insurance, Charlie is your guy. All right, well, let's, for our weekly awards, let's go into our Player of the Week. And we've kind of talked about these guys, but we'll officially name them. So we'll start with our Hitter of the Week. That is Cole Lombardo. He went 5 for 7 this week. He had a triple. He also had 4 singles. Like we said, 8 for 10 start to the season. He was the Central League leader in batting average last year. And Ben, 8 for 10 is a pretty good start to defend that.
Yeah, that's gonna get you out to an early lead. Certainly in the batting average department. He's been a guy who's he's gotten better every year, and it's going to be really exciting to see what he can do now, as in his final year of high school baseball. And honestly, expecting big things from him.
Yeah, and we saw. So it's funny. His sophomore year, I saw him take Luke Dancona yard, and as a sophomore, I'm like, I don't really know much about him. Like, oh my god,
that's no small task.
No, as a sophomore, especially. Last year, obviously an incredible season, but not much power. Not that much power from him. But opening week, 2 homers on opening day, and you're like, there's the power that we're looking for. Got a lot of great experience playing for Wayne this summer. A lot of great arms that you face in that league. So congrats to Cole. Our pitcher of the week, that'll be Kevin Wygo from Marple Newtown. Like we said, the only 7-inning complete game. Ben, you saw a little bit of this. Just 3 hits allowed through those 7 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. Really great start for Kevin. Obviously, Kevin's older brother, Jimmy, at Monmouth. Kevin's starting to make his own legacy here. Got a lot of big innings as a sophomore when Aiden Kern was unable to pitch. So that experience, we talked about with Marple how last year was kind of a year of growth for a lot of their younger players. Another one, like Jordan DePinto, started a lot as a freshman, homers on opening day here. Great start for Kevin. And again, good things happen when you throw strikes, right?
Yeah. He threw a lot of them. He was very efficient. I think he finished with 80-some pitches.
Yeah.
So
let's pull that up exactly. See, what's your over/under? We're going 80 on the dot or a little?
No. I think it was mid-80s. 86.
If you obviously you saw him pitch, but for anyone that sees him, he has a really high leg kick in his delivery. It's intimidating. Also, sharp looking new black uniforms from Marple this year. I think they look nice. What's up?
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm glad they went with the black hats. I know in previous years they've gone the white hats.
So I agree with that. I'm not the biggest fan of the paw print hat. I just think it's a little overplayed. No, I just think if they use the M from that jersey on the hat, I think it would look really nice.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
He threw 83 pitches,
83.
57
All right.
strikes. So that'll
Yeah.
get it done for you. All right, so let's move into our power rankings here. We got another great sponsor who's been with us in the past, but we got a little more from them this year. It's our guy McDevitt Hitting Lessons. So you might have seen that we filmed a video at his inflatable batting cage back in the winter. Ben was hitting some bombs.
No, I was not.
You hit one bomb that I put in the video.
I was certainly not.
The best part is in that video, you could hear McDevitt say, "There we go." Yeah, the other
it's
one.
so hard to hit off the machine.
Especially if you haven't hit off, because and that one ascent video, I think you popped a 90 at one point in there.
Yeah, but it's still, it was like it took me a minute to figure that one out.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk some McDevitt Hitting Lessons here. So they provide a wide range of services to the baseball community. They got one-on-one instruction, group hitting sessions, age-specific clinics designed to meet players at every stage of development. Our athletes, they range from T-ball players all the way to Division I college athletes. I see Austin Cannon in there. I see Jackson Kehoe in there. I know they got guys from all over. They're all working to improve their performance at the plate. They've expanded offerings. They have a 4-week off-season team training program with each week focused on a different aspect of hitting. They also have an online hitting evaluation program, which has already helped over 70 players take the first step in improving their swing and approach. I think that's cool. You can get guys maybe at different areas that just for listen, everybody's had either a pitching or hitting coach on their team that they just don't mesh with, don't gel with. You need some second opinions. It is what it is, especially for the younger ages. A lot of the Little League teams, some of the dads just coaching that are they're good at organizing everything, but you want more of a baseball specific approach. So they are also in the market here. If you are looking to buy one of the inflatable batting cages, you are now able to buy those. They are available for sale. They're on display. Ridley High School has been the first purchase. They also have one in his backyard that they use. So for more information, you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at McDevitt Hitting. And we're very happy to partner with them. We love supporting the local businesses, of course. We covered his son Tyler a little bit at Ridley. I think he was kind of getting done around the time that we were. I think he graduated maybe our first or second year doing this. But yeah, happy to have McDevitt on. These power rankings are presented by McDevitt as well as Substitute Teacher Service. So with that being said, really not too much in terms of changes. We have all 9 teams are the same from last week, just a bit of shuffling. Again, Radnor's still at the top spot. They haven't completed a game yet, so we haven't really seen much to dispute either way. Same with Bonner. They haven't played a game yet. Haverford stays at 3. I think that Haverford generally could have had a legitimate argument to jump up those two teams that haven't finished the game yet, but they lost 12-2 to Plymouth Whitemarsh on Saturday. I think if they had gone on the road and beat another quality non-conference team like they did with Ruston, because if you're beating Ruston, Garnet, and Plymouth Whitemarsh out of the gate, you might have earned the top spot over the two teams that haven't completed a game yet. But I think for now, I get it's non-conference, but for now, I think keeping them at 3 is the right spot. Biggest jump here is Garnet Valley. They jumped from 7 to 4. Couple reasons for that. When you beat a team above you, you kind of have to move above them, right? They beat the Haverford school handily. Ryan McGee had, I think, maybe double-digit Ks in that game. I thought he had maybe 11. Could have been 9 or 10, somewhere around there. So Garnet jumps up. They battled Haverford to the end. They were leading 2-1 in the 7th, so I think having them neck and neck feels right. Took care of business against Chai. I think they're a very good team, and I think that felt right. Episcopal slides down from 4 to 5. Again, just a little inconsistent, but I still think a very talented team. Haven't seen too much of their normal pitching staff. I don't think we've seen too much of Hunter West yet, so expecting to see more of him soon. Haverford School, they stay at 6. Again, same thing, just similar as Episcopal, up and down. Conestoga jumps up from 8 to 7, and really the same thing that we said with the Haverford School and Garnet Valley. You beat the team in front of you, you jump them, right? That's 99% of the time. That's going to be what it is. So Stoga jumps up from 8 to 7, Lower Merion now at 8, and then Marple at 9. Ben, if you had to guess, who would be the next team that is not on this list that would be there next?
The next team that is not on this list that would be there would be... put me on the spot here.
I did. I was curious if you had
I'm
anything.
gonna go Harriton,
I think that's a good guess.
or if like a Carroll or someone gets a couple early wins.
Yeah,
Harriton
so
or Carroll.
my guess was going to be those two, and I think O'Hara could have a potential path there as
Yeah,
well. Maybe Ridley. I think Ridley.
Ridley as well.
It really, again, it depends on who. I think Ridley plays Stoga and Lower Merion this week. So
That's
I
a good
think, I mean,
opportunity
if you
for.
win both, you're in. That's like a non-negotiable, But
Yeah, I mean, I there's a lot of teams that like we haven't seen a lot. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of teams. I mean, even I think Springfield has Pencrest, Strathaven, and Radnor this week.
They
Like,
do have 3 games this week, which is
are you
surprising.
guys? Yeah, it's kind of that's a
I think they
tough
were.
break on the schedule,
I
but
think they were
yeah,
the only team, the only Central League game on Thursday.
yeah, I think so.
So yeah, but yeah. So for now, again, really not too much movement. We don't really have too many data points yet. I expect it to get crazy soon. But all right, last edition of the show here. We have our game of the week announcement. It's unfortunate that it's going to be Phillies opening day, but the game starts at 3:30. So I think that we can kind of get some people antsy for baseball, waiting for Phillies to take off. But the reality is, I want to see opening game between Chichester and Interboro. That game's going to be at Chichester. I think this year these teams are going to be very similar. I think that getting out there early, just to see how these two teams compare, because the way that Del Valle has been for since Sun Valley left. It's one of these two teams that has been the top contender. So I think it's very exciting to get out and see what these two teams are going to look like, because obviously the Del Valle won't be won today or won in this game, but it's pretty close. Whoever wins this game is very, very in the driver's seat. And I think getting out here early, when for some of the Central League games, we're still not really sure where everything is going to line up. But I think getting these guys on Thursday feels like a good start. It'll be at Chichester.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, and you know what, I'll stand by it until I'm proven wrong. It's basically a 3-game series between these two for the Del Valle every year. Until someone else in that league can prove they can beat one of these two teams, that just is what it is. And so you're starting that series in the second week of your year.
Yeah,
And it's a huge game. It's an early game, but there are massive championship implications with it.
yeah. I mean, and that's why I wanted to make sure we got out to at least one. Because, for example, if the second one was a week where like the Haverford Radnor game's happening, or like a big Haverford School Episcopal game, and then by the time the third game rolls around, the series is already 2-0 in favor of someone. Then that
Yeah, it's kind of done.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that we got one of these games in, because I love the rivalry games for sure.
Yeah, I hope we get a game 3 this year. I think that would
Definitely.
be, if we can get a game 3 between these two. Like, okay, well, sorry, you always get a game 3 between, but
A deciding, the rubber match.
yes, rubber match.
Yeah, but all right. Well, that was a great first week of content here. I'm excited. It's going to get a lot busier because really, especially for the power rankings and for the hitter of the week and all of that, like the more info we get, the better. And as more games happen, we'll go less in depth onto each game and more kind of talk about like teams as a whole, which I think is kind of what we did last year. We'd be like, oh, this was Ridley's week, this was Strathaven's week, like kind of go like that. But I'm excited to be back on. I think it's going to be a great season. I think I said this not in a show, just to one of my friends. I think that, in my opinion, I think there's less elite teams, but a lot of depth this year compared to years past.
I would 100% agree. There's really no clear. I would say in most of the leagues we're covering, there's not a clear, top guy, especially the Central League. I don't think we're going to see two teams run away like we did.
No.
I think we were looking at 4-ish losses, 4 or 5 loss champion maybe.
Yeah, because look, every team has their flaws, right? Like Radnor has how many new offensive starters, right? Haverford,
almost all of them.
pretty much their entire team, right? So yeah, but all right. Well, Ben, it was great to get back on the mic.
Of course.
I know that this is gonna be a fun year. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We're gonna be doing this for the most part, pretty much every Sunday night. It's gonna be. But for myself, Brendan Ricciardi, for Ben Thorpe, all Delco Baseball Now. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.